Have you ever allowed yourself to dive into the depths of the great questions that define the human condition? Questions such as free will, the nature of truth, and the existence of a supreme being are not just subjects of philosophical reflection, but true pillars that sustain our quest for meaning. Throughout the centuries, these concerns have challenged brilliant minds, from ancient Greek philosophers to contemporary thinkers, and they continue to resonate today as an invitation to introspection and debate. After all, are our choices truly free, or are we entangled in a web of biological, social, and cosmic determinisms? What is truth in a world where divergent perspectives and subjectivities shape our perception of reality? And perhaps the most intriguing of all questions, does God exist? Or are we, in our finiteness, the sole architects of the meaning we attribute to life? These dilemmas transcend time and space, challenging generations to confront the limits of human knowledge. They remind us that although science and technology have advanced extraordinarily, some questions remain beyond our capacity for definitive answers. Perhaps it is precisely this uncertainty that makes us so fascinating. The ability to question, to seek, to imagine. Today, we invite you to embark on an intellectual journey through the greatest philosophical dilemmas of humanity. An exploration that does not promise ready-made answers, but will certainly expand your horizons and make you reflect on what it means to exist in a universe full of mysteries. Let us uncover these timeless questions together, which not only challenge reason, but also touch the essence of our soul. Prepare to think beyond the obvious and discover that sometimes, in questioning, we find the deepest revelations. Have you ever stopped to question whether the decisions you make are truly yours, or whether, in some way, they are predetermined by a complex network of factors beyond your control? This is the core of the free will versus determinism dilemma, one of the most fascinating and intricate debates in philosophy. Do we truly choose our destinies freely, or is every step we take, every thought we have, and every action we perform already mapped out by forces that transcend our understanding? If we analyze more deeply, we will see that our choices are influenced by a myriad of elements. Our biology, with its genes and neurotransmitters, our society, with its norms, values, and expectations, and even the immutable laws of the universe, which govern everything from the movement of planets to the electrical impulses in our brains. Faced with this, the inevitable question arises, amidst this intricate web of influences, are we truly free? Or is our sense of autonomy merely an illusion, a narrative we construct to give meaning to our existence? This dilemma not only challenges our notion of freedom, but also raises a fundamental question about human nature. Are we truly the masters of our choices, or merely actors following a script written by forces beyond our control? If everything is already determined, what is the role of individual responsibility? And more importantly, how can we reconcile the idea of destiny with our intrinsic desire for autonomy and self-determination? These questions have no simple answers, but they invite us to reflect on the complexity of the human condition. By exploring this theme, we are challenged to confront not only the limitations of our understanding, but also the depth of our being. After all, the quest to understand free will is not just an intellectual journey, but also a voyage to the core of who we are and what it means to exist in a universe full of unknowns. And perhaps, in the process of questioning, we may not find definitive answers, but rather a greater understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Imagine a ship that over decades has had each of its parts replaced. The old deck planks were swapped for new ones, the worn-out ropes were replaced with stronger ones, and even the mast, once sturdy and imposing, was renewed. Despite all these changes, it continues to sail the seas, bearing the same name and identity. But here arises the question, is it still the same ship as before? Or over time, and with the replacement of every component, has it become something different, a new vessel that merely carries the memory of the original? Now, let's apply this reflection to ourselves. If our cells are constantly renewing, with millions dying and being replaced each day, and if our ideas, beliefs, and perspectives evolve over the years, are we still the same people we were in the past? Does the self you were a decade ago, with its dreams, fears, and experiences, still reside within you? Or like the ship, have we transformed into something new, maintaining only an illusion of continuity? This paradox, known as the ship of Theseus, leads us to question the nature of identity and permanence. What defines us as individuals? Is it our physical matter, which is in constant flux, or our consciousness, which seems to flow continuously despite so many transformations? And more, if our memories change over time, if our values adapt to new experiences, and if our bodies are literally rebuilt cell by cell, what remains of the person we once were? These questions not only challenge our understanding of who we are, but also invite us to reflect on the fluidity of existence. Perhaps the answer lies in the idea that identity is not something fixed, but a dynamic process, a narrative we construct throughout life. Just like the ship, we may not be exactly the same as years ago, but we carry within us the essence of all the versions we have ever been, in a continuous journey of transformation and self-discovery. And in the end, it is in this constant evolution that the beauty and complexity of being who we are reside. This is one of the most profound and universal questions humanity has ever faced: the existence of a creator. Throughout history, this topic has been at the core of intense debates, inspiring both devotion and skepticism. On one side, there are those who see evidence of a supreme being's existence in everything around them, in the complexity of the universe, in the harmony of nature, in the very human capacity to reason and feel. For them, the existence of God is not just a possibility, but a certainty that gives meaning to life and the cosmos. On the other side, there are those who argue that there is insufficient proof to affirm the existence of a creator, maintaining that the universe can be explained through science and natural laws without the need to invoke a divine entity. But beyond the debate over whether or not God exists, an even more intriguing question arises. Is faith an intrinsic necessity of human beings, something that is part of our essence, or is it simply a cultural construct shaped by centuries of traditions, stories, and social influences? Does the search for a transcendent meaning arise from our nature, a response to the mystery of existence? Or was it created and perpetuated over time as a way to organize societies and offer comfort in the face of the unknown? In the end, the answer may not be singular or definitive. The existence of God and the role of faith in human life are questions that transcend reason and delve into the realm of subjectivity. And perhaps it is precisely this diversity of perspectives that makes the topic so fascinating and eternally relevant. Imagine the following situation. A runaway train is speeding toward 5 people who are unaware of the imminent danger. You are near a lever that can change the train's course, diverting it onto a different track. However, on this other track, there is one person who will also be hit, resulting in their death. What would you do? Would you pull the lever, sacrificing one life to save 5, or let the train continue its course, leading to a greater tragedy? This dilemma, known as the Trolley Problem, is one of the most famous thought experiments in philosophy. Would you act, or would you let fate take its course? Moreover, it makes us question how we assess the value of a human life and how we deal with guilt and responsibility in extreme situations. And you, what would you do? Would you pull the lever, prioritizing the final outcome, or refuse to intervene, staying true to absolute ethical principles? This dilemma reminds us that morality is often not black and white, but a vast spectrum of nuances that require deep reflection and self-awareness. In the end, perhaps the true lesson is that regardless of the choice, we are all subject to the complexities and paradoxes of the human condition. After all, is there a universal purpose to life, something that transcends our individual existence and connects us to a greater plan? Or is each of us responsible for creating our own meaning, shaping it based on our experiences, values, and aspirations? This is one of the deepest and most thought-provoking questions humanity has ever faced, leading us to reflect on the very nature of existence. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the leading figures of existentialism, argue that life does not come with a predetermined meaning. Instead, it is we, in our freedom and autonomy, who must create and assign meaning to our journey. But is this perspective enough to fill the void we often feel when faced with the vastness of the universe? Do you agree with this view, or do you believe there is something greater, an intrinsic purpose that guides our existence? For Sartre and other existentialist thinkers, the idea of a universal purpose is an illusion. They argue that, in a world without God or a predefined cosmic order, we are entirely responsible for our choices and the meaning we attribute to life. This freedom, however, is not light or comforting. On the contrary, it comes with profound responsibility and often a sense of anguish. After all, if there is no manual or predetermined destiny, every decision we make carries immense weight, for we are the sole architects of our own path. In this view, the meaning of life is not something we find, but something we build day by day through our actions and projects. On the other hand, some believe that life has an intrinsic purpose, whether spiritual, cosmic, or even biological. For these people, existence is not an accident or a blank canvas, but part of a greater whole that can be understood through faith, philosophy, or science. This perspective offers a sense of direction and comfort, suggesting that even amidst chaos, there is an underlying order that gives meaning to our journey. But could this idea of a universal purpose itself be a human construct, a way to cope with uncertainty and the finiteness of life? This duality between a given purpose and a created purpose leads us to question not only the meaning of life, but also the nature of human freedom. On one hand, the idea of creating our own meaning can be empowering. On the other, it can seem overwhelming, especially in times of crisis or despair. Are we truly prepared to bear the weight of being solely responsible for our destiny? Or is the search for a universal purpose an inherent human necessity, a way to find comfort and connection in a world that often seems indifferent? In the end, perhaps the answer lies in a balance between these two perspectives. While some find meaning in spiritual beliefs or collective ideals, others prefer to embrace the freedom of forging their own path, even if it means facing the uncertainty and solitude inherent in the human condition. And you, where do you stand on this spectrum? Do you believe life has a universal purpose, or do you agree with Sartre and the existentialists that the meaning of life is something each of us must create for ourselves? Regardless of the answer, one thing is certain. The search for meaning is, in itself, one of the deepest and most essential characteristics of what it means to be human. Throughout history, philosophy has shown us that true value often lies not in the answers we find, but in the questions we dare to ask. These questions, which challenge our certainties and invite us to explore the limits of knowledge, are the driving force behind human thought. They lead us to question not only the world around us, but also ourselves, our existence, and our place in the universe. But what about you? How would you respond to these dilemmas that have spanned generations and continue to intrigue us? Does life have a universal purpose, or must each of us create our own meaning? What is more important in a moral decision, intention or consequences? And when faced with impossible choices, like the trolley problem, what would be the most ethical course of action? These questions are not merely intellectual exercises. They touch the core of our humanity. By reflecting on them, we are confronted with our beliefs, values, and fears, and challenged to think critically and deeply about what truly matters. And while we may never arrive at definitive answers, the very act of questioning is transformative. It makes us more aware, more empathetic, and more connected to the world and to others. So we invite you to share your thoughts. How would you respond to these dilemmas? What is your view on free will, the existence of God, or the nature of truth? Your perspective is unique and can enrich the dialogue, bringing new insights to these complex questions. Leave your comment below and join this conversation that transcends time and space. After all, philosophy is not a solitary journey, but a collective pursuit of understanding and meaning. And if you enjoyed these reflections, don't forget to share this video with someone who also appreciates deep discussions and thought-provoking inquiries. Who knows? Together, we may explore these fascinating topics even further and discover new ways of thinking about life, the universe, and everything else. As Socrates once said, an unexamined life is not worth living. So let's question, reflect, and together find a little more meaning in this journey we call existence. If you resonate with this type of content, one that challenges the mind, provokes deep reflections, and invites us to explore the great mysteries of existence, then don't miss the opportunity to dive even deeper into this intellectual journey. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to receive updates whenever new videos like this are published. Here, we strive to bring discussions that go beyond the superficial, delving into topics that spark curiosity, expand horizons, and help us better understand both the world and ourselves. Each video is a new opportunity to question, learn, and grow. After all, philosophy is not just a field of study, but a way of life that teaches us to think, critically challenge assumptions, and seek meaning amidst the complexities of existence. And with your participation, this community of thinkers and curious minds will only continue to grow, becoming a rich space for exchange and discovery. So, if you enjoy reflecting on humanity's great dilemmas, exploring different perspectives, and challenging yourself to think outside the box, join us. Your presence and engagement are essential for us to continue bringing content that inspires, questions, and transforms. Also, share with friends, family, or colleagues who, like you, appreciate a good dose of reflection and dialogue. See you next time, and remember, the pursuit of knowledge has no end, and every question we ask is a step toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe around us. Let's embark on this journey together,